password.
Hello creative witches and wizards, it's Maria here, and today we're turning this old, boring jewelry box into this magical Gryffindor themed jewelry or storage box. Which house do you think I should do next? Let me know in the comments below and don't forget to subscribe. Let's get started. I typed in on eBay wardrobe jewelry box or dresser jewelry box and it came up with a whole bunch of these jewelry boxes, typically between $10 to $30 or $15 to $40. Most of them have a floral design either etched or stained on the glass, so I'm going to replace it completely. You can do that yourself by taking another piece of glass and cutting it to size with one of these glass cutters, or you can take it to your local glass repair shop and they should be able to do it for less than $5. I found the Gryffindor emblem on Google Images and I flipped it over and printed it out. I placed my new piece of glass on top of it and traced it using a black glass paint outliner. I'll put a list of everything I used below. Once I finished with the black, I then colored in using yellow, red, and mixed yellow, red, and blue together to make brown. I used paint specifically for painting on glass. If you don't want to use them, you can also use Mod Podge mixed in with some food coloring, or as I'm doing here with the outside, I'm mixing Mod Podge with a tiny bit of gold acrylic paint. For the lid of the jewelry box, I printed off an image which I found on Google of the Gryffindor common room tapestry. I covered the entire image in Mod Podge and then I'm going to stick it down to the lid. Before I do that, however, I'm going to sand the whole entire lid down, otherwise it won't work, and then leave it overnight to dry. I also printed out this Gryffindor slogan, making sure I printed it backwards and stuck it to the front. I covered the entire back of the jewelry box with a stone wall image which I also got on Google Images. While that's waiting to dry, I'm going to paint the rest of the jewelry box. You can paint it with normal paint, but then you'd have to sand the entire thing, so to save time I used a spray paint. Once my images have dried, I can place a wet towel on top for a few minutes while the paper gets damp. Before you spray paint it, make sure you cover the paper with masking tape so you don't get any paint on it, which I accidentally did. Otherwise, the paper won't soak up any water from the towel. With your damp towel, scrape off the layer of the paper. It should come off pretty easily. When you're done with that, then you can add another layer of Mod Podge over the top and let that dry. This is what it looks like after it's done. The photo doesn't transfer perfectly onto the wood, which leaves a beautiful antique feel to it. You can apply some paint to the gaps as I have done here on the edges. I wanted the back of the box to look like the back of the Gryffindor common room, so I printed off a picture of the fat lady which I found on Google. I took the back of an old photo frame and cut out the similar shape, spray painted a hinge so that it would easily stick onto the board, and stuck it on with some super glue. I stuck the image on with some Mod Podge and then stuck it to the back of the box. For the drawers, I painted on some yellow stripes, making a straight line using masking tape. I painted the handles with my gold paint. For one side of the jewelry box, I wanted to make a notice board which you might find in the Gryffindor common room. So I bought a small packet of clay and I made this frame, painted it brown and stuck it onto a piece of board similar to the back of the photo frame that I used. Out of the same packet of polymer clay, I made a Nimbus 2000. I basically rolled the clay into a pencil shape and twisted it to make the right shape, and then to make the end, I just scratched in some lines. For a better explanation, there's some great tutorials which I'll leave a link to from other YouTubers. I also added a small piece to the frame just to make it a little 3D, and I painted over it with some gold paint. I made these easy miniature books which I found from a tutorial on YouTube, which I'll leave a link below. You can find the image of the cover of Quibbler on Google as well. I made a snitch with some clay as well and I painted it gold. You basically make a little ball and then you stick on the design, cut out the wing shape and then create these lines. I also made a little teeny wand. I searched Google Images for Gryffindor banner and printed out these images. Simply glue, fold and stick onto some string. I've made this banner for the other side of the box, which is inspired by the Gryffindor Quidditch team. I printed off some Gryffindor Quidditch posters and a picture of the Daily Prophet which says Gryffindor wins title. And then, of course, thanks to Google Images, I printed off a whole bunch of other stuff like this Bertie Bot's Every Flavored Bean box, some spells, the Marauders map, And then everything that I could think of that might be on a Gryffindor common room notice board. So Quidditch practice notice, some adverts, some Weasley Wizard adverts especially, lost and found signs, and some official Hogwarts notices and letters. Now that I've made and printed everything off, I can start super gluing everything together. The super glue didn't work on the notice board because I think it was very absorbent. So I spray painted it first with some clear spray paint, and I also used that spray paint to spray all of my polymer clay objects, so it gave them a little bit more protection and shine. I used Mod Podge to glue the papers onto the board, and I painted a layer of Mod Podge on top as well just to protect them. If you want to make it into a musical box, you can buy one of these inexpensive musical boxes from eBay. There are plenty of Harry Potter ones to choose from. Finally, I can put my glass in, and if I want, I can put an LED light behind it. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to let me know in the comments below which one I should do next, or perhaps you have a completely different theme in mind. Let me know, and don't forget to subscribe.